And we are back on the Rodriguez Show, and we have another special guest, Ariel Mariano, singer-songwriter. How's it going?
Good, amazing.
Hey, good to have you here. You have a new project, Him, Hurt Inside Me, the EP. It's out now, right? It's the pre-release this week, right?
Yes.
Hey, so it's out, and you can listen to it, and we're excited. Right away, shout out to the AWW guys who made this happen, Alvin and David, great guys. So Ariel, you're a first-time guest here, so what I'd like to do is just tell me the story from the beginning. Where did you initially get the inspiration from to start making music?
Well, back in my day, no, I'm just kidding. So I've been writing songs when I was like young, like really young.
Yeah.
But what truly inspired it was just all of the stupid decisions and painful relationships I allowed myself to go through that pretty much the songs just wrote themselves through each and every relationship I went through. And actually coming into a place of being like, oh, I guess I'm going to do this thing was like literally probably 2 years ago. And I was like, after like one of my hardest relationships ended, I was like, oh yeah, I'm just gonna, this is going to be a way of me filtering expressing just like myself. And it's just like it was like a stress reliever, a soul cleanser. Like literally it's my diary in the form of music. Gotcha. And I've just been, so like the first song on my EP after, well, I guess technically the second song, is I actually wrote that 10 years ago, literally 10 years ago. When I was 19, for one of my first like love of my life, and then from there it just kind of grew, and that's kind of the order sequence of each of my songs too. It's just based upon like the stuff that I went through and
in your life,
all that. Yeah.
Well, that's awesome. I mean, that's a really cool way. Did you start writing songs, or was it just poetry, or was it diary entries?
So I just started writing songs. Like I would just hear something in my head, like I would hear a tune, and then I would have a lyric already, and then I would just kind of run with it based upon what I was feeling. And then like in 15 minutes or less, I'm like, oh, boom, well, here's the song.
Wow.
And that's kind of just how all my songs work. It's like, oh, I'm feeling something really heavy. And the moment I feel it, I'm like, I'm just going to keep running with it. And that's just kind of my writing process and how I've always done it.
Wow. Well, I mean, it's worked out well. You have some really beautiful songs out of it.
Thank you.
Is there a topic in your music that you're not ready to cover yet? Is there something you're holding back?
Oh, a topic of my music I'm not ready. I guess like as real as I am, there you know, like some parts of me that like I keep censored because it's not for everyone. Just you know, just to be like cautious and like, you know, just courteous to people, which is why like I don't like naturally curse in my songs. I mean, in one of my songs I do say damn, but it's like it was a real situation and it was a real moment. It was a real conversation that I had, and I was like, why would I censor that moment? And that was like one of my courageous moments that I was like, oh, but I mean, like I'm a real person like everybody else. I make mistakes and all that kind of stuff. I'm not freaking perfect, but I'm just like in this place of like being more honest and like real, like with the album that I'm like working towards with my producer, is just being really real and even more real and honest with my lyrics, and really establishing the sound that I've just been like longing to go for, because this EP is based upon a sound that I created 10 years ago. And even like after that, I was like in a dry spell of music for a long time, and then just got back into it and then wrote like
a bunch of songs.
The rest of the songs in the EP after that, like, you know, pretty much that second song, and was like, oh, this is where we at right now.
Wow. Have you so like you said, your songs are based on your relationships you've had, the experiences you've lived through. Have you ever had a reaction from somebody that the song was about?
So actually, I feel like most of the people who, like most of my exes that those songs are about, like they've been like, oh, like I know the second song or whatever, he loved it, like the original, but the original song had so many lyrics and it was long, but he loves it. And that made me like really happy that like he enjoyed that. And then, you know, I've also had the other end where it's like, oh, I wrote you a song and then like I don't really get nothing from that person. Like, but it's okay because like whatever, like I let you hear my diary. And I don't really, honestly, I don't really care if you like it or not. This is just how I feel, and then I'm just, it's my expressive outlet. So.
And then that's how you got that. I mean, that's how you got closure, was you expressing yourself through that art. So if that person didn't feel it, that's cool because you're already moved on, right?
Exactly.
Well, that's great. It's a good way to you know, it's a healthy way to express it through music, you know?
Yeah.
So when you do write a song like a one about a past relationship and you're performing it, do you still feel that the same emotion or a version of it?
Oh yeah. I mean, like I am able to like put myself back into the place of how I was feeling when I wrote that song. That's not hard for me because I'm a super emotional person anyway. So it's like, oh, when it's that certain song I'm singing, I'm like, oh yeah, I could still feel that because those emotions were real and they are real, and like that's just gonna last with me forever. But it's also like I'm grateful for feeling that because it shows growth and it shows that I've grown from that. And so I would never like shut that out. So in all the songs I write, I'm always gonna be like, yo, like, ooh, I can feel it because like for me, I'm not just gonna like sing a song just to sing it. I'm gonna sing it from the deepest place of my heart, from where I originally wrote that thing. So it's like I want people to feel the way that music has always moved me. And in ways that, you know, like people try and block off and try and like shut down, like, no, like accept how you're feeling and just like grow from it, deal with it, and be grateful that you feel that way. Cause you know, we human, we broken, that's cool.
I mean, every whole bad experience just helps you grow and become, you learn from it. So it sucks when you're in a relationship and it doesn't work out, but it's like, hey, it just makes me better for the next person that I'm with, you know? So who were some of the people that you work with on this album? Do you have some help creating the sounds?
So my producer, Alex Bowers, actually helped me create the entire EP, which is super awesome. I had one of my girlfriends, Sierra Michelle Sarmiento, do some BGVs in one of my other songs. And then also another friend, Brenda, who helped with like some of the percussion stuff on one of my other songs too. But as far as like visually, like the cover, I took the picture when I went on an isolation trip, but then I have some homies, Michael Cody and Michaela Miscafa, who helped like edit the stuff because I don't know how to edit stuff. I'm like, I don't know. I just took the picture literally from my phone and through my watch. I'm like, here we go.
Here you go.
But I mean, literally, I've been surrounded by people that like just are super awesome. The Awe guys like have been super awesome too, and just like encouraging and like helping, and it's just been just a bunch of awesome people that like, it's for me, it's not about me, it's about like growing together with like team. Awesome people that are also creative and artists and just like wanting to excel in that. And I'm like, yo, let's just do this thing together. I don't care about being famous, I just care about all of us like leveling up. Let's do this thing. And
how does it feel that now you're pretty much done with it, releasing it as a group?
Oh, I feel like I'm gonna throw up, honestly. If I'm being so honest, like I'm excited, but I'm also like, yo, this is some stuff that I've written when I was like really in like not great places like of my life, but also like I'm super stoked. Like I get really weird when people listen to my music around me because I'm like, ooh, I'm gonna go leave the room because I don't want to hear myself. Like I don't know, I'm weird about it, but like eventually I'll get used to doing that and just sitting there while people listen.
It's like you'll have listening parties and play the whole thing for them. Yeah, it's tough. Just like,
this is like sad girl music right now. My producer Alex was like, if we're gonna start making upbeat music, I'm like, yeah, we have to. I'm not gonna dance to my songs. It's not the vibe.
It's true. I mean, there's not songs to dance to, but they're really beautiful and they have a lot of emotion. So it's called Hurt Inside Me if you're just tuning in now on Hits 101 Radio. Him by Ariel Mariano. So what's your favorite song? Can you pick a favorite off of this?
Oh, I think my favorite would have to be it's hard because I like all of them, but if I had to pick like my top two, I'd say Step Into the Sun, just
Mhm.
because that song, I don't know, I love the whole like how it came about, and just like I have an acoustic version of it out on YouTube and Spotify and everything,
Yeah.
whatever. But I just love how that came out. And just everything about it is super cool. I don't know, for me, like that was like that song was going to be something else when I had written it. Like
Mhm.
um I wrote it when I went on my like isolation trip last year to be in a tiny cabin, and I just like I thought it was going in one direction, and then it totally changed, and then like moments later I was like, oh snap,
Yeah.
this is what this is sick. So that was one of those songs for me, and then my other one is going to be Tiny Cabin, because I
Yeah.
wrote that in a tiny cabin, but also just like um just the sound of it is like I don't know, I love it.
Yeah.
It's like different, it's like trappy, soulish kind of vibe, and like I'm a huge fan of like soul and like jazz and like R&B and all that stuff, and I also love like the trap sound.
Yeah.
So I thought that was like, it was very different for me when we were producing it. I was like, yo, Alex, we like made our own little genre. It's like trap soul music.
Yeah.
And he's just laughing at me like I'm a fool or whatever. But
Hey, it's a new sound. It's good you're exploring it.
yeah.
Is there any dream collaborations or somebody you're like want to work with in the future?
Oh, there are people that I just like love, that I would just like fall over to like work with. I think that would be super cool. Like I really love her. I think she's freaking amazing.
Yeah.
Also, just Sinead. I think she's amazing. Also, she's like half Asian. I think that's like sick, and she's also English, and her accent's just I love hearing her talk. And then I also just love Miguel, and I would just die if I could just like even just be a background vocal for one of his songs. I would fall over and throw up. That's really gross. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
It's super graphic.
Well, that's great. I mean, you can see the influence of the people that you admire on your music, and you're creating songs that are really great. So what is your ultimate goal? I know that you just started you've been making music for a while, but what do you want to do with it? Do you want to be touring? Do you want to segue to something else?
Ooh, I mean, honestly, the ultimate goal would be just like working in music. Like being famous is never going to be a goal for me, because that's not a real, at least for myself, I don't believe that's a real goal. It's like, I mean, I would love to go on tour and like start doing live shows again and be out there, just like, I guess very simplified, my goal is to impact lives and to touch people the way music has always touched me in like the darkest of places, and to bring a light into people that have like gone through really like horrible relationships or have gone into like the deepest darkest places of their lives, and just to be that light, you know, like if that comes with, you know, like it being heard everywhere and going on tour and like, you know, all of that stuff, then that's huge. That's great. If that allows me to like just do music full time, like shoot, I would love that. Like I know that's a hard gig, but like I would just love to like write with people, create melodies, like whether that be mine or just like working with others and like helping encourage and lift them up. Like I want to lift everybody else up around me. Like, and then, you know, I'll go with that. Like it's not just like me and then launching off, leaving everyone. No, I want everyone like, let's go, let's do this thing. Like, let's keep going up. So yeah, just that.
Just you know, have some success, just doing what you love, and that's a good attitude to have. It's very realistic. You know, you just connect with people and keep moving up. Is there anything else you got planned for this year? I know you mentioned something, some more work with the AWW guys, right?
Yeah, so along with like the EP coming out, at the end of this month, we're actually going to be filming a little like docu-series kind of music video-ish thing. So people have like a visual that will also be put out of like little snippets of the EP, and pretty much just like my story going through it and writing the whole thing. And so I'm like really excited to do that. I'm super awkward in front of, behind a camera, in front of a camera.
All around the camera, you're awkward around
all
it.
around the camera, 360 wise. I'm super weird. It gets weird. But like, I'm excited to like do that and work with them again. Like, they're just like the coolest people ever. And then I'm also like, just once my producer gets back from Ohio, because he decided to leave me and abandon. I'm just kidding. He didn't abandon me. Once he gets back, we're gonna start working on like an album that I'm like, yo, let's really establish my sound and like get going and have some upbeat songs and like do this thing. Like, I already have written like multiple songs and I'm like, yo, let's run with this. And he's like, tight, we're gonna do it. So I just want to keep going, whatever that looks like. I want to look back and be like, hey, kids, your mom isn't famous because that's not a goal, but she tried the thing. So follow your dreams and try the thing. And that's essentially what I want to tell my little legends and be like, do whatever you want. Just try it. If you fail, then you fail. But at least you can't say that. Yeah, you know, you can't say that you never did it. So
that's awesome. Well, you're very inspirational. Thank you for doing this. The project is called Him. The Him EP is out now. You can check it out. And we're about to play a couple tracks. Tell us a little bit about the tracks that we're about to play.
So Mr. Right is actually, if you pre-order my EP, that is your instant gratification song. So you instantly get that song. Nice. And it's just like short and ditty. And I originally wrote it on the ook, and I was like, yo, like, I'm tired of like dating the wrong people, whatever. I'm waiting for the dude. So that's what like this song is about. And then the next one, Step Into the Sun, which is one of my like favorites. It's so theatrical. I just love it. I feel like I can see it in a movie, you know, just, ooh, that's cool. But yeah, Step Into the Sun. I have the acoustic version and music videos on YouTube if you want to check it out. But yeah. All right.
Ariel Mariano at Ariel the Little on Instagram. And like I said, it's the Him EP, and we're about to get into it. Thank you for doing this.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, check her out. And Mondo, take it away with the music. Let's get it on The Rodriguez Show.